Hey there, and welcome to the Alive and Unbothered podcast. I'm your host, Cherie Linnell, your mental freedom coach and mentor, and I'm sharing short, actionable strategies every week to help you activate an unbothered mind, transcending depression, transforming your life. Hey there, friends. Thank you for coming back for another episode of Alive and Unbothered. This episode is a special one because I'm feeling the spirit of the holiday season with anticipation of the new year of 2020. And kicking it off with Thanksgiving, I have so much to be thankful for, and I'm extremely thankful that you're tuning in to walk the Alive and Unbothered journey with me. And I'm thankful to have a platform to share my experiences with you so that you can know that you're not alone in your fight for better mental health and that breakthroughs are possible. In fact, I'm going to share with you a breakthrough that I had with my son recently. I was in a bothered state of mind over something that he did and he continues to do. And after he did it, it felt as though everything in my life was getting on my nerves. And I was irritated to no end, it seemed. And the truth is, um, everything wasn't getting on my nerves. I was letting this interaction that happened between my son and I mean more than what it was and allowed my imagination to create a disempowered story. And through that lens, every moment that followed was not joyful. In fact, um, it wasn't joyful. In fact, it was just downright awful. So, what happened? Well, let me tell you what happened. Through the story I created, and then I'll really tell you what happened, okay? So most mornings I wake up an hour before waking up my children, which is about a quarter to five, so that I can get grounded and take on the day. I get up that early just to do that. And in that hour, I practice Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, and then I'm ready to start getting my kids up between 5:30 and a quarter to 6. At least that's how I would like to have it go. Instead, from 5:30 to a quarter to 7, I'm exhausting myself by calling out their names to wake up, turning up the volume on the TV, listening to their protests and negotiations to sleep in a little longer. Just 5 minutes, mommy, 5 more minutes. While my daughter gets up and she starts to get on with her day, my son stays in bed, often screaming back at me to leave him alone. Well, this irritates me, and I'm getting madder and madder until finally I blow up and start screaming at him to get the hell up. Now, he gets up and he's angry now because he has minutes to get ready for school. And I'm angry because I spent the last hour or so arguing with him. And he starts to get ready for school. The living room and the kitchen are a mess because we're rushing around and hustling and bustling to get out the door, not to miss the school bus. And by then, I'm just simply spent. And my miracle morning now, it's ruined. It's like everything I had hoped my day to be was lined up like dominoes, and that interaction with my son was a domino to fall and collapse the rest of my day. And I'm internally stewing over the morning, thinking, I can't believe how disrespectful he is. And, I can't believe that all I do for him, he can treat me this way every single day. And I think about this interaction for hours and I get absolutely nothing done. And time continues to fly, and I'm trying to distract the noise in my head by binge watching shows on Netflix. And before you know it, the kids are back home from school, my husband is home from work, and I've done absolutely nothing. And the impact of that spills over to my kids who are expecting me to like have snacks ready for them or dinner cooking, and it's not done. And my husband is frustrated because he comes home to chaos and all, and all of that guilt. I have the guilt of not doing anything in my business. So the rest of the day and evening, I'm like of no use to anyone because I failed to do what needed to be done as a mother, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, and I resolved to just, I just simply suck. So you see, what happened, although it is real for me and you probably can relate to it on some level, is all just one big story I created. It's not what happened at all. What happened was that my son didn't get out of bed when I told him to. That's it. That's it. He didn't get out of bed when I told him to. And the story that I created was he was being angry at me for waking him up and being disrespectful. My pride was hurt and my ego took a beating because I wasn't in control of my son. Now, when I got that I wasn't in control of my son, that is the moment my miracle morning disappeared. Now, let me ask you something. When you ask someone to do something and they don't do it, are you making their no mean more than what it is? We all have free will, even our children, even our employees. We know this though, right? But when we're told no because someone else is exercising their free will, it irritates us because we want compliance and cooperation. And we see it as a form of disrespect or that we're not valued. And we start taking it personally when none of it is true. What's true is their response of no. And we need to know how to move past it so we're not irritated. And I found that I can do that by looking for alternatives to my request or having a conversation with them to find out why I received a no without, having any expectation of a desired outcome. So, in other words, I'm prepared to simply accept it as their choice. So, in regards to the situation with my son, I don't want to be in control of him. I don't want to be in control of anyone. People are not puppets and we are not puppeteers. And my son, he's 12 years old, he's an individual human being. And when I got that, I needed to know how he thought he was being in the morning. So I had a talk with him. I asked him, why he doesn't want to get up in the morning and why are you mad at me when you get up late? And he told me it was too hard for him to get out of bed because it's too comfortable and he needs my help. And I got that. It's not easy to hop out of bed. Hell, I need a whole hour to myself before I'm out of the bed waking them up. So, the next morning when he didn't get out of bed when I told him to, because, the conversation that we had, it didn't stay because the next morning it's the same cycle almost. Okay. So, like, when he didn't get out of bed when I told him to, I remembered that I can't control him. I can only guide him. So I remind him of the current time and how much time he has left before we need to leave for the bus. I remind him that he wants to have some time to himself to watch TV or play a game after he gets ready before he leaves. Now, when he doesn't get up in time, I remind him it was his choice to stay in bed, and what happens because of that choice is what it is, and we are going to work through that now. So for me, this has given me back my miracle morning. I'm no longer bothered by this interaction with my son every day because I know that I can only control how I respond, not my son nor his responses. And yes, I still wish he would just do what I tell him to do the first time, the first time I tell him to do it. And even though he doesn't, I know at the end of the day, he'll do what's best for him if he's given all the information he needs to make good choices. So if you're struggling with accepting the no's from others, consider whether or not you've given them all the information they need. And if you did, know that they're making the choice that's best for them and that it really has nothing to do with you. It's really them choosing what's best for them. And having that perspective just changed the game for me. You know, people are just going to do what's best for them anyway. The best that you can do is just present them with options and information that they could use to make the best choice for them, right? And once they make that choice, that's it. Has nothing to do with you at that point. All right, so on that, I'm going to depart and prepare for tomorrow, which is Thanksgiving. This episode is late. It should have been up on Monday, but it is what it is. I'll see you next time, and enjoy your day with your family, your friends, and remember, try to live your life completely alive and unbothered. Until next time, peace out, and I love you. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Alive and Unbothered podcast. For more about this episode, please head over to sherrylinnell.com/podcast for notes, transcripts, and bonus materials. Thanks again for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, share with your peeps, and until next time, live your life fully alive and unbothered.